Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
It's a very wide-angle shot, and as you can see, we'll give you one guess where we are. And it's Christmas Day. I know we already did our Christmas Day special reading, but
now you spoiled it.
Oh, sorry. I mean, anyway.
It's another Christmas Day reading.
So,
which will go after the day after Boxing Day. But it's Christmas week because we're celebrating baby Jesus all week.
Baby Jesus. Jesus.
Alright, let's be quick because, you know.
It's a little chilly.
Well, it's just unsavoury people.
Oh my Lord.
Canto 4, Chapter 11, Text 15. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
There was no need for that.
Okay.
Text 15. The creation of the material world begins with the 5 elements, and thus everything, including the body of a man or a woman, is created of these elements. By the sexual life of man and woman, the number of men and women in this material world is forever increased. When Swayambhuva Manu saw that Dhruva Maharaj understood the philosophy of Vaishnavism and yet was still disassociated because of his brother's death, he gave him an explanation.
This what?
Oh, dissatisfied because of his because of his brother's death. He gave him an explanation of how this material world is created by the 5 elements.
Material body.
Body is created by the 5 elements of material nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also confirmed Prakriti Kriyamanani. Everything is created, maintained, and annihilated by the material modes of nature. In the background, of course, there is the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Maya Diyakshena. In the 9th chapter, Krishna says, under my superintendence, material nature is acting. Swayambhuva Manu wanted to impress on Dhruva Maharaj that the death of the material body of his brother was not actually the Yaksha's fault. It was an act of the material nature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has immense varieties of potencies, and they act in different gross and subtle ways.
Interesting.
So, Swayambhuva Manu, because Dhruva Maharaj is upset because his brother's died, and that too, not in a nice way and by not nice people, he's obviously upset. But it's interesting that telling him, just calm down, stop now, doesn't work. So then he starts preaching. You know, that's interesting because sometimes an immature mood sometimes if we're upset or distressed or traumatized would be to go straight to the preaching. That might be a controversial point, but let me explain it. Sometimes initially we need to deal with the emotions, and we need to deal with the platform which the spirit soul finds itself on, which is in the material body, in the material world. And we have attachments and we have duties and like that. So to go straight and say, look, you're not your body, sort it out, isn't going to work. If someone's died or whatever catastrophe has occurred. So initially it's like, look, it's okay, you've avenged the death of your brother and that. It's okay, and trying to put some logic and doesn't work. Okay, so let's go to the philosophy side now. And sometimes that can interject and elevate one, depending on where one is. So it's interesting now he's bringing the philosophical side in now.
Yeah, I thought what was interesting is that it says here Swayambhuva wanted to impress on Dhruva that the death of the material body of his brother was not actually the Yaksha's fault. It was an act of material nature, which I think is quite interesting and intriguing. And I think something to ponder quite deeply. I'm not sure, maybe we'll find out more as we read, if Swayambhuva Manu is actually just trying to use that as some sort of a philosophical trick to get him to stop, killing the Yakshas, or if what he's actually trying to say is, in one sense true and relevant, that actually the material nature has ultimately caused the death of your brother, whether you like it or not. You can shoot the messengers, but they were just the pawns in the hands of the material energy. And by going and killing them in the intense way that you're doing is not really going to make it better, and it's not really solving the issue, because he's still dead, and the material energy is what caused his death. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it is, like you said, the deep philosophical angle that, like, you know, yeah, don't blame the instrument of your karma, right? That's what Prabhupada would say. Don't blame the instrument of your karma, which is quite a profound and difficult lesson to get, really. Okay, next paragraph. It is by such powerful potencies that the universe is created, although grossly it appears to be no more than 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Similarly, the bodies of all species of living entities, whether human beings, demigods, animals, or birds, are also created by the same 5 elements and by sexual union. They expand into more and more living entities. That is the way of creation, maintenance, and annihilation. One should not be disturbed by the waves of material nature in this process. So true, but yeah, hard to grasp. Dhruva Maharaj was indirectly advised not to be afflicted by the death of his brother, because our relationship with the body is completely material. The real self, spirit soul, is never annihilated by killing anyone. So I guess in one sense you could say that this is the same argument that Krishna was using with Arjuna, right? Except he was encouraging Arjuna to kill and not to worry, because he's not killing them, he's just killing their bodies. You know, so it's interesting. Okay.
Text 16. Manu continued, my dear King Dhruva, it is simply by the illusory material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and by the interaction of the 3 modes of material nature that creation, maintenance, and annihilation take place. The first, creation, takes place with the ingredients of the 5 elements of material nature. Then, by the interaction of the modes of material nature, maintenance also takes place. When a child is born, the parents immediately see to its maintenance. This tendency for maintenance of offspring is present not only in human society but in animal society as well. Even tigers care for their cubs, although their propensity is to eat other animals. By the interaction of material modes of nature, creation, maintenance, and also annihilation take place inevitably. But at the same time, we should know that all is conducted under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything is going on under that process. Creation is the action of the Raja Guna, the mode of passion. Maintenance is the action of Sattva Guna, the mode of goodness, and annihilation is the action of Tamo Guna, the mode of ignorance. We can see that those who are situated in a mode of goodness live longer than those who are situated in a Tamo Guna or Raja Guna. In other words, if one is elevated to the mode of goodness, he is elevated to a higher planetary system, where the duration of life is very great. Udivan Guchanti Sattvasta. Great rishis, sages, and sannyasis who maintain themselves in Sattva Guna for the mode of material goodness are elevated to a higher planetary system. Those who are transcendental, even to the material modes of nature, are situated in the mode of pure goodness. They attain eternal life in the spiritual world. So yeah, that's interesting. Now I was reading this because Swambhuva Manu is saying that, okay, Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's the one responsible for the material interaction of the 3 modes, material nature, the creation, maintenance, and annihilation. So I was reading that, I was thinking, okay, but if I was in Dhruva's shoes, because when you get hurt or you lose at a loss, the natural instinct is to blame or to find out, where can my focus go? Because that's how we relieve the pain as well. To focus on you're my enemy, you clearly did that, whether it's one person or a company, for example, that bankrupts you, or whatever it is, that's natural. So I don't know if this would work for me in the first instance if someone said, listen, it's Krishna that's responsible for the maintenance. I mean, eventually, but I think in the first instance they'd be like, no, let me burn this whole kingdom to ashes, and we can talk about the creation, maintenance, and annihilation. Interesting. I'm just saying, that's how when I was reading it, because my book is somewhere, but because we appreciate that, and that's understand that philosophy, but I'm saying to apply it in the moment, to apply it when they're feeling those passion, goodness and ignorance, the modes of goodness, because your mode of ignorance being extreme anger, and passion meaning I'm going to just destroy you, whatever. It's the goodness element isn't going to filter down. If anything, it can wind you up more, actually, when someone tries to inject that. Anyway, I'm just sharing, that's how when I was reading it, and I was thinking,
Yeah, I guess he's trying to appeal to his
higher nature, which theoretically would be more prominent, but he's still Kshatriya, so he's certainly governed more by Rajagun, but he's also, a pure devotee. Okay, let's read on. My dear Dhruva, and we've got the umbrella up because it is raining. It's raining quite good. And I was, we're okay, but the book is not so okay. And your iPad.
iPad would be okay, but
The book is wet though.
Okay, so text 17, and that's a long purport, but we'll read that and maybe conclude. My dear Dhruva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. He is the remote cause of the creation in this material cosmic manifestation. When he gives the impetus, many other causes and effects are produced, and thus the whole universe moves just as iron moves by the integrated force of a magnet. Purport. How the external energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead works within this material world is explained in this verse. Everything is happening by the energy of the Supreme Lord. The atheistic philosophers who do not agree to accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the original cause of creation think that the material world moves by the action and the reaction of different material elements. A simple example of the interaction of elements occurs when we mix soda and acid and the movement of effervescence is produced. But one cannot produce life by such interaction of chemicals. There are 8,400,000 different species of life with different wishes and different actions. Different wishes. How the material world is working cannot be explained just on the basis of chemical reaction. A suitable example in this connection is that of the potter and the potter's wheel. The potter's wheel rotates and several varieties of earthen pots come out. There are many causes for the earthen pots, but the original cause is the potter, who sets a force on the wheel. That force comes by his superintendence. The same idea is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Behind all material action and reaction there is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna says that everything depends on his energy, and yet he is not everywhere. The pot is produced under certain conditions and action and reaction of material energy, but the potter is not in the pot. In a similar way, the material creation... What's wrong?
It's just coming down and down and down like that.
Okay.
So I was just lifting it out, sorry.
The pot is produced under certain conditions, the action and reaction of material energy, but the potter is not in the pot. In a similar way, the material creation is set up by the Lord, but he remains aloof. As stated in the Vedas, he simply glanced over it and agitation of matter immediately began. Okay, it's another paragraph, so you can read in a minute. Just talk about it being lower. I mean, at least it wasn't on my head before. Now it's like touching my head. Oh, no problem. Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right, final paragraph.
Can I make a comment?
Oh.
I think it's a nice analogy of the potter and the potter's wheel. Somehow As I was hearing that, I was thinking it's like a nice analogy for people to get, that the earthen pot comes out from the potter's wheel. So many different things have been part of the creation process, but everything has been conducted under the superintendence of the potter.
Alright, Harry Potter.
Hare Krishna.
Next, final paragraph. In Bhagavad Gita, it is also said that the Lord impregnates the material energy with the part and parcel jivas, and thus the different forms and different activities immediately ensue. Because of the different desires and karmic activities, activities of the jiva soul, different types of bodies and different species are produced. In Darwin's theory, there is no acceptance of a living entity as spirit soul, and therefore his explanation of evolution is incomplete. Varieties of phenomena occur within this universe on account of the actions and reactions of the three material modes, but the original creator or the cause is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is mentioned here as Nimitta Matram, the remote cause. He simply pushes the wheel with his energy. According to the Mayavadi philosophers, the Supreme Brahman has transformed himself into many varieties of forms, but that is not the fact. He is always transcendental to the actions and reactions of the material gunas. Although he is the cause of all causes, Lord Brahma says therefore in the Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna
Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam.
There are many causes and effects, but the original cause is Sri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna Bhagavan Ki Jai.
Jai. And Sri Krishna is the original cause of this rain coming down as well. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you everybody for tuning in. We hope you had a lovely... Today is Christmas Day, but when you see it, it'll be the day after Boxing Day. So in that sense, we hope you had a lovely Christmas festive break.
Hare Krishna. Merry Christmas.